Okay. Eclipses. This will probably go super fast. I don't expect this to go very, very long. Okay? An eclipse is a very simple thing. It occurs when the moon moves in a line directly between the Earth and the Sun, casting a shadow on the Earth. Whenever everything is in perfect alignment, you get shadows. I don't know if I told you guys in another class. When I was a little kid, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world when an airplane passed over me and I saw the shadow went over me.
Yeah.
Happens all the time now because I live next to Dulles Airport.
That sucks.
You live all the way down there?
Up there. It's been over.
Does that suck? Like when you're like just like in your house when you hear it?
They should do alarm.
You get used to it. They don't fly over as much as that. Okay. Solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, they're both, something is getting eclipsed. Something is getting covered. So you can think eclipse is something has been covered, or you could say, you know, alright, I'm not even going to try to make an analogy. Eclipse, something is being covered or hidden. Okay? Don't worry about this bottom one. I want you to see that solar eclipse, the sun is eclipsed. Lunar eclipse, the moon has been eclipsed or covered. Joseph.
Does that happen during like a certain moon phase? Like
Yes, it does happen during a certain moon phase.
just like
Okay.
I saw that
A solar eclipse will only happen during a new moon. Because if it's the sun getting covered up, that means the moon has to be between us and the sun. And that's a new moon phase. A lunar eclipse is when the moon passes through Earth's shadow, and so it has to be full.
So only those two. Nothing else?
Yeah, only those two. Brian?
Which one? Like, isn't it? I saw the moon was orange. Like,
Alright, say that
I don't
again.
get it. Like the moon was like orange.
Well, the moon can get orange for a couple reasons. If the moon is really low in the night sky, we're looking through a lot more atmosphere to see it, and the more atmosphere adds a lot of pollution and air and dust and other things, and that changes the color of the moon. It's often called a harvest moon. Or a lunar eclipse is also orange. Orangey red. Like heart. That's why I have one on mine. Okay, solar eclipse. We have a library. You're gonna fail your quiz, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, solar eclipse. This is actually pretty simple. Brian, pay attention, please. Earth, sun, moon.
Umbra.
Okay. Umbra. You call it the umbra. The umbra and the penumbra. Now, this diagram you need to draw in your notes, and I'll give you some time to draw this in your notes. Okay? Do you have to pass? Yes. So yes, you have to draw it. Okay. The sun hits the moon. The moon creates a shadow. The shadow of the moon is actually very small. Have you guys ever gone outside and kind of looked up at the moon and like, haha, I can block it with my thumb, and it blocks the moon? No. Do that.
He's like, you can do it.
You can do it.
Watch Apollo 13. It can happen.
I'm coming
you know,
to your
I can
face.
take, you know, from here with one thumb, I can block out that lamp. It's all about perspective. Okay, you guys have always seen the pictures of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, where people are like holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa and stuff like. It's all about perspective. Well, the further something is, okay, the greater that perspective. And in this case, because the moon is so far away, no, the moon is huge. The moon's not a small thing. It's bigger than the airplane that's going over me. Gentlemen, you don't know what the Leaning Tower of Pisa is? Nerd. Okay, I'll try to find a picture later. Okay, even though the moon is so big, it's very far away. So its shadow, even though its shadow is huge compared to us, by the time it hits the Earth, it's pretty small. Now you notice when I say shadow, I'm only pointing at this really dark piece of light here, or this dark piece of shadow actually. It's the umbra. Now, in your vocab, you're going to have the terms umbra, penumbra. There's an easy way to remember this, okay? The umbra, I spell it right.
Has one triangle.
W, it's single U. Okay. U-M-B-R-A. This is the dark shadow.
No.
Or you can think if you have an umbrella in the sunlight, it creates a shadow. Okay, umbra is the dark shadow. Then I'm going to take umbra. Okay, and I'm going to put a prefix on it, pen. Penumbra is not the dark shadow, it's the partial shadow. Penumbra, partial, pen,
So
partial,
it's
partial shadow.
It's not. It's the lighter part of the shadow.
So like right now.
Huh? Like your shadow.
Have you guys ever been to a concert or a movie or a theater where they have multiple lights overhead? And you look down and you can see, oh, a light's hitting me from this angle, light's hitting me from this angle, and there's two distinct shadows. You have shadows on both sides of your body.
Yeah.
Those would be penumbra shadows. Where those shadows cross and it's darker, that would be an umbra shadow.
Yep.
What was that? I have a what?
You have.
It's a good shadow. Other shadow, dark and light.
You not see yourself
Oh, on the board. I'm sure I do because there's lights all around the room. Well, I can hear what he said at first. Okay, this is a solar eclipse. Now, this is important because we're not going to get into too much detail here. This is not just any solar eclipse. This is a total solar eclipse.
So.
The sun has been totally covered.
What's the path? What's the path to solar eclipse?
Okay, so as the Earth rotates, okay, the path of the moon doesn't move that fast around the Earth. The Earth is rotating on its axis, and as it rotates, different parts of the Earth see the moon at different times. So, the sun, the moon, the Earth, when everything is perfectly in line, and the moon is the right position distance-wise away from the sun and the Earth. What? What do you mean, what? All you have to do is ask questions. Alright, Colton, what's the problem? Are you just having a problem talking to Julie's there, or is it a question of class? He's just tired. Okay, when the moon is in the right position, remember how I said apogee and perigee? What does that talk about? What's apogee and perigee talk about?
What's that on the bottom?
This?
That's just what it looks
We'll
like.
talk about this in a second.
Where'd that come from?
I'll talk about it in just a second. What is apogee and perigee? What does those concepts talk about?
Wait, what?
Apogee, perigee. We talked about it last class. Is the moon always the same distance from the Earth?
No.
Oh.
And there are times that it's further away, times it's closer.
Yeah.
Remember
The
apogee,
way it
perigee?
orbits.
It's the closest point.
Yeah, and then
Apogee is the furthest point. If the moon is too close, it's either, I forget which one, too close or too far away, you can get a partial solar eclipse. The moon not only has to be in the right plane, but it also has to be the right distance away from the sun. So this does not happen very often. In fact, this is kind of rare to a point. Okay? So umbra, penumbra, path of solar eclipse. Do you guys have this drawn in your notes? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny, do you got this? Alright. Let's quit talking about it then. Let's talk about something else.
Wait, what is all that?
Now, let's reverse the concept.
Oh man, that's too much.
All that?
Okay, here we have
Wait. Okay.
the sun, the earth, the moon.
So lunar is when the moon.
Can I just take a picture of it?
Earth is between the moon.
Yeah, can I just take
It's in the notes, but I think writing it down is better.
Wait. So solar is when you move between Earth and the sun, and lunar is when the Earth is between the moon and the sun.
Solar eclipse is when the moon is between the earth and the sun, and the moon is putting a shadow on the earth.
And lunar.
The sun is being eclipsed. The sun is being blocked. The moon is blocking the sun the same way my thumb blocks the light. right?
Yeah, so this one would be the Earth.
This is a lunar eclipse.
So the Earth.
This is when the moon is getting between, sorry, the Earth is getting between the moon and the sun. Right, so total solar eclipse, it's a new moon. Lunar eclipse, it would be a full moon. Okay? We still have an umbra. We still have a penumbra. But what do you notice about the umbra in the lunar eclipse?
Smaller.
It's smaller?
It's bigger.
Oh, it's not the Earth.
Yeah, now it's the Earth's umbra, and now it's much bigger. Much bigger. Okay? This happens a lot more frequently. Anytime the moon passes into Earth's shadow, why does it happen more frequently? The shadow's bigger. So you can have partial and you can have full. I actually, when I was a kid, I got to see a full lunar eclipse. And during a total solar eclipse, the sun literally goes black. Completely 100% covered. And then, if you're lucky, you'll be able to see the corona of the sun shining out. However, in a lunar eclipse, the moon doesn't go completely black. It kind of gets this red, burnt orange color because it's reflecting. It's actually the Earth is shining light onto the moon, and you're seeing the light of the Earth bounce back while it's in an Earth shadow. Okay, so this is a lunar eclipse. You have to know the concept of umbra. You have to know penumbra. Right? When we come back next class, we're going to be doing the eclipses lab, and you'll get a lot more hands-on practice with this concept.